All right, Grizzly Risley is in the house, starting out Chapter 8. So today we're on 8.1, adding and subtracting polynomials. So what is a polynomial? A polynomial is just simply a collection of terms through addition. Or subtraction. So it's just a bunch of terms put together. So let me give you an example. X squared plus 3x plus 9. Something like that would be a polynomial. It's the collection of terms through addition or subtraction. Now, some things that cannot happen. So some things that cannot happen are, so I'm going to write no. There can be no variables in the denominator. Okay, no variables in the denominator. There can also be no square roots of a variable. So no square roots of x. There can also be no exponents that are fractions or negative. So no negative exponents and no fractional exponents. And then I think that's it. Okay, so non-examples are some of these. So a non-example could be, let's say you had 4x to the negative 3 plus 8. This would not be a polynomial because you have a negative exponent. Okay, so now the important stuff is what to do with polynomials. So we're going to talk about a little bit of vocab here. Descending order is we always want the term with the highest power first, and we work our way down. Okay, so you look through the powers. The powers are the exponents. You find the biggest exponent, and you write that entire term first. And then you find the next highest exponent, that would be this term, and you write that one second. And then you find the next highest exponent. This one's kind of like a 1, so that would come next. And then the term with the smallest exponent, which would be, this would be like x to the 0, that would obviously go last. So that's called descending order. You always want your polynomials in descending order. The degree, so new vocab, the degree of a polynomial is the highest exponent. So what is the biggest exponent? So if it's in descending order, you just look at the very first one, that should be the biggest, and that's called the degree. So this polynomial has degree 3. It's the highest one. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of the first term when it's written in descending order. So the leading coefficient is the very first number you see in front of the highest power when it's written in descending order. So the very first number you see, negative 3, if it's in descending order. Okay, and lastly, a couple vocab words to classify. A monomial has one term, because mono means one. A binomial has two terms, because bi means two. And a trinomial has 3 terms, because tri means 3. All right, that's it for page 1. I know today's is kind of boring. Okay, so let's practice doing these couple things here. So put it in descending order, tell me the degree, and tell me the leading coefficient. Okay, so first let's put it in order. The highest powered term we're going to write first, and then we're going to go down the line. The 15x would come next, and any constant will always go last. Okay, that's in descending order. All right, the degree. Remember, the degree is the highest exponent, the highest power, and that's going to be 3. And the leading coefficient is the very first number out front. Now, it's just a negative sign, but remember, that means a secret -1. So the leading coefficient is -1. Okay, now on to another example of, is it a polynomial, yes or no? And then tell me the degree and classify by the number of terms. Okay, so let's try this one. So the number 9, yes, it's a polynomial. Okay, let's go down the line first. This guy, yes. This guy is actually no. Oh, and this is something I forgot to put in the front. No variables as exponents. Okay, that's why it's a no. No variables in the exponent. This one is also no, and this was on the front. This one's no because there is a negative exponents. No negative exponents allowed. And this one is also yes. Okay, so you're looking for those rules: no variables as a power, no negatives as a power, no fractions as a power, and no square roots. Okay, classify by degree. The degree is the highest power. So this one, there is no x, there's no variable, and no power, so the degree is 0. This one, the highest power is 2. We can't do it for these. And then this one, the highest power is the sum. So if there's a bunch of powers in each term, you find each sum. So this one's a 1. Total powers here, 1 plus 3 is 4. And total powers here, 4 plus 1 is 5. And then you take the highest sum. So this one's degree would actually be 5. Okay, now classify by number of terms. This one has 1 term, so it's a monomial. This one has 1, 2, 3 terms, so we call it a trinomial. And this one has 1, 2 pieces, 2 chunks, 2 terms, so we call it a binomial. Okay, so that's all the boring vocab. And I wish we were done, but we do have one more page on adding and subtracting. Okay, so adding and subtracting polynomials. You know what? You guys have done this already. This is review. Okay, so here's the trick. First, is there anything to distribute? And if you notice, there's nothing out front here, there's nothing out front here. So I'm just going to rewrite it. I'm going to rewrite the problem, and I'm going to lose the parentheses. Because if there's nothing to distribute, we can drop the parentheses. Okay, this is what I think you guys called circles and squares. Let's combine all the like terms. So I'm going to circle all my cubed terms, and I'm going to add them together. 3 plus 1 would be 4. So we have 4 of the x cubed terms. And then I'm going to get all of the x squared terms. There's only one of them, so nothing to do. Just drop it down, plus 2x squared. And then I'm going to get all of the x terms, just single x. So that's going to be -5 plus 1. So -5 plus 1 is -4 of the x terms. And then any constants go together, but there's only one of them, so just -1. So that is how you add polynomials. Super easy. Now subtracting is a little bit harder because guess what? You have to distribute the minus sign to the second parenthesis. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it. The first parenthesis stays the same, but then every single piece here gets the subtract. So it's going to be minus x squared minus 4x minus 10. Make sure you distribute it to every piece. And now, same thing. Add like terms. So let's get our highest powers first. I'm going to add all the x squareds. So 3 plus negative 1, right? Or 3 minus 1. Maybe that's easier. 3 minus 1 is we got 2 of the x squareds. And now let's get all of the x's. We have 1 here, and then we have a minus 4 here. So 1 minus 4 is, we got negative 3 of those. And then let's get all of our constants. We got a negative 6 plus a negative 10, and that would be negative 16. So that's how you subtract. Okay, and I just want to do one more where you also have to distribute, and then we are done. So let's do number 4. So number 4, in the first parenthesis, we have to distribute the first one, everything times 3. And then in the second parenthesis, we have to multiply everything, distribute by negative 2. Okay, let's do it. So this becomes 12x cubed. This becomes plus 6x squared, and then minus 12. And then this parenthesis is negative 2x cubed, positive 6x squared, minus 2x. All right, so everybody knows how to distribute, right? Okay, same thing. Get all of the like terms together. So if I add all the x cubes, we're going to have 12 minus 2. We're going to have 10 of the x cubes. And then let's get all the x squareds. We got 6 and 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12 of those. 12 of the x squareds. And then let's get all the single x's. And there's only one here, so we're just going to drop it down. Minus 2x. And then to finish it off, we have one constant only, so we're going to drop down the minus 12. And that's how you add and subtract and distribute with polynomials. All right, that's all, guys. Thanks for watching.